Okay, so today the plan, the goal is to have everybody set up on Bridges 2, able to log in. I'm going to go over some high performance computing introduction, really deal with lots of jargon and sort of what are we talking about when I say we're going to log in and do stuff on Bridges 2. And then also Google Colab, Rosalind, and GitHub. So hopefully by the end of today, you're able to log into all of those things. Just a reminder, there's an assignment to have this completed, and then there's also the reflection on AI use. So on the Canvas page, hopefully, right, so you've visited, so in module 1, you'll see the lecture content where Tuesday's stuff got posted, and then as soon as I get back, or as soon as the file uploads, I'll post that in this space. And these modules are meant to be able for you to just kind of walk through them. If you just hit next, you'll be taken to this onboarding page, and this is the stuff we're going to cover today. So on the Access tab, the Access PSC tab, again, Access is such an unfortunate acronym. Get this out of the way. I gave you the sort of summary. It's the last slide in the PowerPoint that we're going to go through, but you can also download the PowerPoint here. And then it'll also be in the lecture space on the tab we were just in. And then for each of the accounts, there's a little instruction set. Again, this is what we're going to do today for class. You continue on there, you'll see the videos for the reflection assignment. So there are 2 for you to watch, the origins of ChatGPT and then the Sam Altman interview. Once you're done watching those, you can go through. And then this is the assignment for account setup. There's not actually something for you to submit in Canvas. We're just going to record that based on you completing the Google form, okay? But I need to place in Canvas to record those grades, so this is kind of a placeholder in Canvas with no submission other than what you put on the Google form. And then the last thing in this module is the reflection on AI, so you've got the instructions there. From your view, like if I go to this, view this as a student, you should see the text box, right? So it even held on to my text that I was using to make sure it counted words right. Okay. Questions about the setup, how to complete the assignments? All right. I'm not sure if you're just going to be a quiet semester or just not fully caffeinated this morning. So let's get at account creation. Okay, so first account, because this is typically the trickiest one, is the Access PSC one. So I'm just going to go over to the Intro to HPC. So that's what an HPC, I keep using that acronym, stands for High Performance Computing. That's at least what one server room looks like. So that is a high performance computer. You also hear them called supercomputers. When people talk about cloud computing, this is what they're talking about. There's some server room that looks something like this somewhere else. You may not even know where, but it's where you're actually doing the computing. Why use it? Why not just have you do everything on your laptops? Well, a lot of the stuff that we do in class, you could do on your laptop. These are mostly going to be toy data sets because we need them to run fast enough to actually be able to demonstrate in class. But we're going to use the HPCs just because ultimately when you get real data sets and we start working on projects at the end of the semester, you're going to want the horsepower you need from a supercomputer. So they have many, many more cores, lots more memory, and essentially infinite hard drive capacity or storage capacity. Hard drive is even an antiquated term now because whether they're spinning hard drive disks or not always the case. When we talk about HPC horsepower, like how big, how powerful is the computer, it's measured or reported in flops. That stands for floating point operations per second. This is the calculation. You're not going to be quizzed on this, but if you were ever curious about how we measure computing horsepower, and just as a point of reference, your laptop, if it's any kind of recent, can probably do on the order of a gigaflop. And in terms of what does that mean in something more tangible, you'd have to perform one calculation every second for about the next 32 years to do the math that your computer can do in a second. Now, if we shift over, so these links, just a website that sort of keeps track of the performance of HPCs, right? I said that your computer, your laptop, can do about a gigaflop. So that's where high performance computing was back in the 90s. Okay. Today, it's measured in exaflops, right? So the fastest one just crossed the exaflop. So it goes giga, then tera. That's 100 times faster. And then another 100 times faster is the exaflop. So the fastest one, that's the triangles there. Oh, you can't see what I'm seeing. Why is that? Here, I'm looking at a different picture than you. So I was pointing at this with my cursor and you couldn't see it. So those links on the slide, right? So back here in the 90s, that's what the computer sitting in front of you could do, okay? So this is where the fastest one is today. Last year we crossed that one exaflop threshold. And so these just in like the number 500, so the 500th fastest supercomputer in the world is doing 2 or 3 petaflops. And then the fastest one, so number 1 on the list, are the triangles. So it's doing 1.7 exaflops. So like we're talking, it would take you 3,000 years to do what it can do in 1 second. So that's, talking about where AI is going and the compute power that we have. If you've watched the Sam Altman video already, and I said it because it sticks with me, there'll never be another person born that's smarter than AI. If you were just curious about what is the fastest, the other link on the PowerPoint will take you to the actual list. So the fastest supercomputer right now is called El Capitan. It's a Department of Energy supercomputer. Actually, don't remember where this one is housed off the top of my head. But number 2 is Frontier at Oak Ridge, and so on. But anyway, if you're just curious about the stats, they're there. We've given you the links. I find this stuff interesting. In case you can't tell, I'm just kind of a tech nerd. I like Kit, so I follow this stuff. Okay, back to, nope. Okay, so that was those 2 links. So again, we're talking about supercomputers. The thing about logging in and using a remote computer is that you have to have credentials to get in there. And so that's sort of that where we're headed in terms of getting access to the ones in Pittsburgh. Traditionally, we would have had to use a terminal. SSH stands for Secure Socket Layer or Secure Shell, and we would have to do everything by command line. One of the nice things about Pittsburgh is they have already moved to browser-based methods. You can still use SSH to get into Pittsburgh, so if you have a background in command line and you want to use SSH, knock yourself out. I don't know why you would want to, and I'll show you how you still use the command line through the browser, but these browser-based methods are just so nice. For anybody who's suffered through command line SSH, yeah, it's super nice. So this is the link to get to access. I have this link sprinkled all over the place, but this is what it stands for. Again, one of the least, I think, well thought. Maybe they did it on purpose to make it something you couldn't Google easily. But yeah, there's the link. Step one to creating the Access account is to go to that site. There's a drop down. So actually, let's just go there. Oh, I'm already logged in. I really do want to log out. Okay, so if you go here and then click register, yep. PowerPoint loves to hold on to my, thank you. Right, so all I did was click that link and it took me over to come on. I'm trying to. Hopefully, this is just to show, if you're following along in real time, where it takes you, right? So you should get a page like that. The actual image may be randomized, so if you don't get that picture, it's okay. But then here, you're going to go to register, since you don't have an account yet. And then you'll go to this page and scroll down to register without an existing identity. So that's what, right? So here, the screenshot I took had a little bit different image on it, but it's the same place. When you click that register, it takes you to that page, and then I scrolled down the screenshot. I didn't feel like taking it for the whole page. And unless you've used Access before, everyone will be using this register without an existing identity. Okay. So if we go here, and we start to get into territory here where I can only help you so much, because, so if we do begin, I actually don't know if it's going to recognize me because of my browser cookies or not. So name and all that stuff, I guess asking for your, so the question at the beginning we had about where it asks for your institution, is that after this point? It's right after this step? Yeah, unfortunately, I won't be able to get there because as soon as I put in my email, it's going to kick me back saying there's already a user with that account. And actually, it'll check my name too. Actually, let's just, I'm just wondering if it'll let me do that. Somebody from, yeah. Yep. So, like I said, this gets into the territory where I can't see exactly what you see. But you hopefully either UTR LinkedIn is in there, or there's a place to type it, or you don't need it. The little red asterisks are for the net required info. So if it's not required, then maybe you can get by without it. Okay, so here's the stop sign. Once you have that access username, you should